Barely a week after the flood, questions are being asked about why more effective and timely warnings and evacuations did not occur in Kerrville and Kerr County. Meanwhile, Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick are promising solutions from a special session of the legislature that will convene later this month. Reporter Eleanor Klibanoff from the Texas Tribune has been covering the flood and its aftermath. She joins us now. Eleanor, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Eleanor, what are the system failure issues and questions that you're seeing emerge early on?
There's a lot of questions about, what alerts were sent to people in the area, and possibly more importantly, what was done on top of that to ensure that people who, maybe aren't from that area, aren't familiar with the terrain or the evacuation plans or how quickly things can get out of hand there with flash floods, were aware of what they should be doing. I mean, these alerts came at 1 and 4 in the morning. People are asleep. People don't have cell service. We've heard a lot of people who didn't get any alerts at all. A lot of questions about what county officials did during that time, what should have been done, and what some of the limitations are, period, to just getting information like this out there.
Already, we're seeing reporting about repeated requests by the county to the state for help with modernizing their warning system and other criticism of the overall response, like you mentioned. What are state and local officials saying about that?
Certainly, about 10 years ago, after there were other floods in the Hill Country, Kerr County, it looks like, tried to get funding for $1 million to improve their response to things like this, to install better alert systems. That money, it's hard to come by in Kerr County to get $1 million. The state of Texas did not grant them, a grant or a loan to make that money, or to get that money in their pockets to do that. The plan sort of fizzled. Now, of course, hearing a lot of enthusiasm from state officials to find funding for that for Kerr County, but also for other flood-prone areas. But just a lot of questions about, why does it take a disaster? Why does it take such a death toll for something like that to get funded?
Now let's talk about managing the aftermath. It's a huge mess with so much debris. There are local deaths and therefore funerals to be had. Plus, apparently, dozens, over 100 more still missing. How can this relatively small community deal with all of this from what you've seen?
It's just devastating, Kerrville. Everyone I talked to there was, knew someone who'd been affected, and the people who had lost their homes, they'd lost their businesses, they lost their pets, their possessions. They were the ones saying, at least we're lucky to be alive. And so this recovery is going to take a long time. I also, a lot of big questions about what will the tourism economy, what will the camp economy look like in this area going forward? Can the state and local officials do enough to assure people that it is safe to come here after what is, at this point, the deadliest flood, in 100 years in Texas?
It is so staggering to hear story after story, and a grim coincidence. You mentioned tourism, why so many people were even there in the first place for this holiday weekend to be a tourist and get away. No doubt many difficult days ahead for the people in Kerrville. Eleanor Klibanoff for the Texas Tribune, thank you so much for sharing your reporting with us.
Thanks for having me.